Hello there, this is Duck, and you're listening to the Railway Series Book Club. Sorry, I'm eating a peach right now.
Why are you eating a peach? We have more important things to tend to.
What, like piss and toads and yellow things?
No! Not everything yellow is piss!
What the fuck?
I mean, that's a matter of opinion.
What the fuck else is there that's yellow other than piss? Fucking corn? No one gives a shit about corn.
Cheese! Come on! Come on! Cheese! It's right there!
Listen,
you know?
Listen, no, Jamie, I'm sorry, cheese is orange.
But some cheese is orange.
Yeah.
Some cheese is white. But most cheese is yellow.
But
What
like,
wild cheese is orange? Hey.
Welcome to the Rally Series Book Club, the podcast full of fucking idiots who don't understand cheese. I'm Jamie, the Queen of Cider.
Wow.
Pronouns she, her.
Wow!
And I got my fucking Kato Bachman Thomas faces in.
Let's go.
Way.
Yeah, they're fucking amazing, and they look a lot better in person than they do in a lot of the, like, pictures taken by Japanese users where they, like... I mean, I assume it's just because they all have very high-res cameras on their phone, but, like, everybody keeps directly pointing the lens into Thomas's pores, and it makes him look a lot less good than it actually looks in person. Like, if you went off of those, like, pictures, you'd think this thing was, like, you know, unsanded to hell. It still probably could do with a little bit of sanding as is, but, like, out of the box, looking at it with real human eyes, this thing looks basically perfect. It's amazing.
Okay.
I highly recommend getting it if you can. That's as much as I'll say about it before Roundtable.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool, Jamie. Did you know that you're pretty cool?
I didn't know that. That's new information.
Hey, now you do.
I need a citation, I think.
The citation
Well,
is, like, our entire time knowing you, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jamie is epic. Everybody in the
First-hand
episode chat in the Discord. By the way, join the Discord. Everybody in the episode
Yeah, join the
chat
Discord,
right now
by the way.
talk about how cool
Yeah,
Jamie is, because she's
Join the
epic.
Discord.
Also, hi, I'm Vivian. I'm a ghost. Boo. She, her.
I was waiting for the pronouns. Hi, I'm Andrew. They, them. And, you know... It's quite a shame how much it costs in today's economy to have sex with Goofy.
Yeah, like...
It is-
Inflation can't possibly be that bad for the rate to go up that high.
Yeah, Google goofy inflation to find out.
I'm sure that is absolutely not where you intended that joke to go, but I'm glad that all three of us worked together to deliver that
I'm glad that
grenade
happened.
to the audience.
That's like the hardest I've ever heard you laugh, Andrew.
It's... No, I've laughed harder. I think it's just more pained because I fucking, like, literally before I got up to get, like, some snacks to, like, record, I fucking swallowed my water wrong and it, like, fucked up my throat. I'm still dealing with the consequences to this day. It lingers
Oh, fuck.
like a pirate's
Never
curse.
leave you.
I'm very sorry. I saw the opportunity and I took it.
Yeah, no, the window was open and you fucking leapt through.
You were
Like
like
Germa
my
fighting that
favorite
fire.
GIF of all time. Fuck, where is it? Where is it? Andrew, put it in the video right now as I try to find it right now.
Okay.
Fuck, where are you? Where is Railway Series Accurate? Load! There we go.
Oh, yeah.
There-
He's just going through that fucking stained glass window.
Yeah, I was thinking this GIF.
Oh, okay.
See, my thought was so I saw an edited GIF earlier today, right? Of I've never seen the Scott Pilgrim movie, but it was an edited GIF of the Scott Pilgrim movie where he jumps out a window. But it's
Was it the Mario 64 one?
Yeah, the castle secret slide.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that too.
Oh dear.
So
Anyway, today we're
what's the story
talking
today?
about Duck and the Diesel Engine.
Oh my god.
We're going back to Duck and the Diesel Engine.
hooray!
I don't know why I say back. It's not like we left it between the last episode and this one, but Duck and the Diesel Engine. Today we're talking about Pop Goes the Diesel.
Talking of inflation.
What? Oh no.
So I had a really I floated a very interesting I'll call it a proposal for our coverage on this book. And I floated this to the girls a little while back, and whilst they did both find the idea funny, it fell through because I just forgot about it. I was going to kidnap, frankly, a non-Thomas friend of mine who is quite the yaoi connoisseur to guest for this book, and let them give their piece as to how this is a formative piece of Western yaoi.
Of course.
Again, fell through because I forgot.
Yeah.
We all have ADHD.
Same.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is also worth
I
noting.
mean, I'm not diagnosed with it, but I probably do.
I'm not diagnosed either,
shit.
but as I've talked about before, goes to the doctor, gets a diagnosis form, puts the diagnosis form down, loses it, hasn't gone back for 2.5 years. So
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, that just says it all, doesn't it?
But speaking of toxic yaoi, this story definitely did more or less change everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't really know it if you were reading it for the first time without any context of, the books that follow and the, successive multinational IP that comes from them.
Yeah.
So, I forgot to write down the entire, everything to do with the backstory of Diesel other than the broad strokes. I'm hoping that Andrew, is able to fill in on that. But basically...
I got a little bit of it.
Yeah, so
Sounds.
basically, the publishers wanted Audrey to include one of the new diesel locomotives that had been rising to prominence on the railways. Audrey was not a big fan of diesel locomotives, so he decided he would make his new diesel a mean engine that would not return after the end of the book.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's more or less it. Yeah. What I got was that it was Eric Merritt's idea.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact passage, but I think they talk about it in Tank Engine Man, how, Eric Marriott was, a little bit annoyed about it.
Yeah.
I mean...
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's I wanted him to introduce a diesel engine. It fucked off after the end of the book.
And it's funny that that's the case, because... Diesel is essentially a one-off, except for a couple appearances in Christopher Audrey's work. But then once the TV series rolls around, he just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
He just became a recurring character, and is now a main character as of the current generation of the cartoon. So,
Just can't get rid of him.
you can't get rid of him. He's just always there.
You're never, ever, ever getting rid of me.
I'm full of surprises. They ought to say of me.
Where the fuck were we?
Diesel.
Devious Diesel.
Diesel.
How they never
Devious
fucking got rid of Diesel.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's also serendipitous that, the Diesel that Audrey chose to make Diesel was the kind of Diesel he was. I'm sure Audrey knew because this was an ongoing thing at the time it was being written, but, like, the 08 versus the Pannier as, like, you know, a conflict with which to, like, duel with each other makes a lot of sense at the time, given that, you know, the 08s were being made to fulfill the same kind of job as the Panniers. So, you know...
It's a similar thing with, well, not exactly the same. It's similar to, Mavis with Toby, because...
Yeah.
The very small amount of Mavis's class that had the side plates eventually kind of superseded Toby's class.
Yeah, no, they basically just straight up did. They pretty much exclusively worked the Wisbeach line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like there's going to be a lot to say regarding Audrey and his opinions on Diesel and how that shaped the way the books came together. I feel like, just for the sake of content, we should probably spread that out across multiple episodes.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot about the, I think a lot about Audrey's quote about the diesel locomotive being two-faced, and about how, like, the steam engine, you can tell what it wants and how it's feeling just from, the way that it sounds, but the diesel locomotives, you can never really tell what it wants, because, all you do is touch on the starter and it goes and it purrs so self-satisfiedly. And, like, I'm not necessarily saying Audrey is wrong to prefer one mode of traction to another, but I do feel like it's less that, like, the diesel locomotive, as he describes it, is, like, an untrustworthy creature. It's more like it's just a cat, whereas steam engines are dogs.
I would
like,
say
cats are inherently bad.
I think the cat and dog analogy is very good. I also feel like the steam engine's probably closer to, like, horses.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, because, like, they're iron horses.
Yeah, because
they can be very temperamental like horses.
Yeah, and if you piss them off even a little bit, they will kill you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to coax them into cooperating.
Horse and cat. The thing is that horse and cat is not necessarily a duo. It's like they're it's like you have horse dogs and horse cats. I think that's the way we have to look at it. Surely.
They're furry fusions.
Yes. And then
it's a horse cat hybrid mix. King of the jungle, still with it and social and ferocious.
This is Percy.
It's King of the Jungle.
And then, of course, the electric engines are horse worms.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about what that could look like, so I'm gonna...
I don't either! That sounds horrible!
Well, I think the closest thing we could theoretically get to a horse worm would just be, like, an iguana.
Not really.
Like, okay, just hear me out here, okay? Very long, thin body, legs.
But can you...
you could give a fucking human being that same descriptor.
Well, no, because you have hands. A horse has 4 legs, it doesn't have hands.
Well, yeah, but you never specified hands. You just said legs.
Yeah, but if the hands were a part of the equation, I would have mentioned them.
But you didn't mention the hands.
Yes, so they weren't part of the equation, chucklenuts.
Do we have anything else to say about...
Okay, just because they weren't part of the equation doesn't mean they couldn't be still part of the fucking number.
Okay. But no, I don't have anything else.
Do we have anything else to say?
Yes.
Do we have anything else to... yeah. Okay.
So... Duck and Diesel are, by this point rather infamously, both on the Tumblr Sexy Man wiki. And have been joined recently, as of July, by Gordon. The key players in the first half of this book are all, by the metric of the wiki, Tumblr Sexy Men.
I hate it. I really hate it.
Well, the best antidote for poisonous knowledge is to share it.
I mean, fair enough. Like, honestly, like, I kind of want to critique it on the grounds of, like, surely there are better Thomas characters to
There most certainly
assign
are.
as Tumblr Sexy Man, and I just can't think of them.
I feel
James
like
or
there are a
Edward?
lot of... Okay, listen. I feel
I
like
guess.
if they really dug deep into the wider character list, I feel like a lot of Tumblr would be really horny for Mr. Percival.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't love men is the problem. I'm having a hard time coming up with,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Well,
you know, everyone would be so horny for this man. And I'm like,
Mr.
mean-
Bubbles.
no, Mr. Bubbles, yeah.
no, yes!
Yeah, Mr.
Exactly!
Bubbles.
Put him on the Tumblr Sexy
Yeah,
Man
Mr.
list right now!
Yeah, get him the fuck on there, guys. Lock in, alright? No, look, see,
We
I'm
command
saying
you.
this as someone who likes men. I see nothing about Mr. Percival. I can faintly see it, I guess. Like, oh, you know,
He's very white bread.
he's very white bread, yeah.
Like, he could be a twink, but he's also, like, you know... He's also,
he's
like,
in, like, his
just not got a lot
40s.
going on. Yeah.
But, okay,
Dude's bald. Dang.
so, this is the thing. Do Mr. Bubbles and Mr. Giggles the famous clown get separate entries, or are they combined?
Well, Mr. Bubbles and Mr. Giggles, the famous clown, are two separate clowns.
I don't think they're intended to be.
But they are anyway.
They use the same, like, character model, but I think they have different names, so I assume they are different people.
They're
Just, like, wearing the same costume or whatever. Which I think is weird, because I'm pretty sure clowns have, like, specific, like, copyright rules about their own appearances.
well, this is Sodor we're talking about here.
What
And
I'm learning
Sodor
it's a
is
lawless land.
unlike anywhere else, so jot that down.
Okay, but I do think it'd
Okay.
be really funny to do, like, a story about Mr. Bubbles being taken to copyright court.
That would be really funny.
By the estate of Mr. Giggles, the famous clown.
After his tragic
Yeah,
death.
because he's dead!
Yeah, because he's dead, because
He got fucking rear-ended by Diesel!
he got fucking whiplash, yeah.
It all comes back to Devious Diesel and his various crimes.
Devious Diesel. We agree!
Speaking of which, we should meet Devious Diesel.
Yeah, I'm gonna start reading the story now, because... hell.
Just real quick. Just real quick.
We agree!
We agree!
We agree.
I love the
We
very,
agree.
I love the very tiny Diesel.
Yeah. City of Churros' visit made Duck very proud of being Great Western. He talked endlessly about it, but he worked hard too, and made everything go like clockwork. The trucks behaved well, the coaches were ready on time, and the passengers even stopped grumbling. But the engines didn't like having to bustle about. There are two ways of doing things, Duck told them. The Great Western way, or the wrong way. I'm Great Western, and don't we know it, they groaned. They were glad when a visitor came.
I love Edward being pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking Edward!
He's on autism kill switch mode.
Yeah! Oh god, that is like basically... That's basically my thing about this scene, because I remember a while back on Twitter, and this has been living rent-free in my mind. I don't remember who it was with, but somebody made the argument that this scene, you know, Duck didn't do anything wrong to Diesel, but he was doing something wrong to the other engines by talking about being Great Western and, you know, setting them up to be taken under Diesel's influence because he's being so annoying and superioristic about being Great Western. And, you know, I think half of that argument is a good argument. Like, yeah, Duck being annoying and talking about his special interest, essentially, as much as he does definitely give the big engines reason to be like, oh, this Diesel guy is a lot, you know, better to work around than Duck, because I don't have to listen to him yap all day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like you know, I'm actually going to get into it on a later page, but, you know, I don't think Duck's Great Western shtick is him being, like, you know, a supremacist about himself and his own heritage. I think
He's just
that's
excited
just him
about it.
being He's just autistic.
He's
like,
yeah, he's literally he is just autistic.
Listen, it's
yeah, like,
Duck is the kind of guy who will like put on a show he hasn't watched in a couple of years, and it will be all he thinks about for the next week.
yeah, like, he's just autistic.
Yeah.
Like, don't even fucking at me about it. Like,
Don't even
you know,
joke, lad.
we all know it's true. It's probably about to become canon in season 4 of Egg. You know, he is autistic. All the trains are autistic, but Duck is very autistic.
It's like all the trains are autistic, but they're all different waves of autistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, and like Andrew said, it's the autism kill switch, you know?
Yeah.
You meet one guy being 1% more autistic than you,
And
and
it
it's like,
activates kill switch
I'm
mode."
going to fucking get... Yeah, kill switch mode, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know... Which I feel like reflects more poorly on the big engines than it does Duck, under that, you know, the framing from that tweet I brought up earlier. Because, like, you know...
Duck is just chilling.
Duck's just chilling. He's talking about what he's passionate about, and, you know, if the big engines were genuinely bothered by it, or if the big engines, like, were genuinely hurt by Duck potentially insinuating that they're lesser than him for not being Great Western, they should have fucking told him that and talked to him about it instead of just stewing.
Yeah.
Because Duck's
Yeah,
a pretty
but this is
reasonable
Tidmouth.
guy. Like... It is Tidmouth, but, like, we can see Edward getting upset, too. So, like, surely Edward could have thought and said, hey, the other engines are kind of being... The other engines don't really like that you're insinuating that you... They think that you might be insinuating you think you're inherently better than them for being Great Western. And then Duck could maybe clarify and potentially, like, lay off a bit.
They think you
nobody
think
fucking
you're
does
better than
that.
them.
And I mean, you are.
And I don't think that you think that you're better than them, but they do.
Although, actually, now that I think about it, I do think Duck could see himself as being better than those three specifically, just because they are such colossal fuck-ups and assholes.
Yes.
Which, you know...
And, like, there...
I feel like that is also
As-
sometimes an autism
There is
thing.
there is still beef from Duck Takes Charge.
Yeah.
As we'll see in the next story. So,
Yeah.
there definitely is some of that at play here.
Yeah. The other thing about it is that, you know, I feel like, from the perspective of trying to view this as, like, the big flaw about Duck in this story, I do think it is interesting still. Like, I still stand by that being interesting. I do not think Audrey meant it that way.
No.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like we said in the last story, Audrey had big Great Western bias, but, like, even besides that, Duck's obsession doesn't get in the way of his work and doesn't result in any mishaps throughout the book.
Yeah, if anything...
And I feel like if Audrey were trying to posit it as a flaw of Duck's, it would have come back to bite him in some way.
Yeah. I mean, like, he loved Sodor Karma.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so it's like,
you know.
yeah, maybe Duck's being a little bit grating about it, but it's also like, he just met someone who he considered a very, you know, inspiring character, and he's excited.
Yeah,
And he would have probably like calmed down in like another week.
yeah. Throwing Death of the Author back into the mix, though, I think it would be interesting to, like, you know, have a version of the story where it is an aspect that, like, you know, Duck realizes, oh, maybe I was being a bit annoying, and that's why they turned against me. But, like, you know, even then, again, it reflects more poorly on the big engines than it does Duck, in my opinion.
The trains are all stupid.
Yes.
They really are. I was about to say I didn't have anything else to say, but then I remembered that there is something to say about this page, which Andrew pointed out in the last story, which is that
The
later
typo.
editions of this book, including the 98's, change way of doing things to way of doing this.
Yeah, which
What?
my edition has changed that, and I'm very sad to have discovered this.
And it has
Why did they-
it has tainted both Michael Angelis and Bruce Alexander's respective narrations of this story.
It's very sad.
It is tragic. Mr. Perkins' one, however, is unchanged. It is still doing things.
Yeah. Well, it's probably because the TV series kept it as doing things, because there wasn't a split by then. So, like, they probably said doing
What?
things just because it's in the show.
Yeah, but they did the
But they were doing the book story?
Yeah, they were doing the book story. Like, I mean, yeah,
but like they
it's
incorporated
closer,
changes
it's a lot
from
closer
the TV
to the
series
TV
into some of the
script, yeah,
stories.
but like it is still primarily the book.
Well, maybe whoever wrote the script for that section just knew to fix it or something.
Yeah, who knows?
Do they modify Duck's number in those?
No.
That makes sense.
I'd never thought to look for that.
It's not a very major thing. It's just I know they change like the Narrowgauge engine's colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
The number's a much subtler thing, so I can understand it maybe like escaping their notice. I only noticed this when I was doing the edit for the 8 famous engines. Or, not the 8 famous engines, that's the name of the book. When I was doing the edit for the Fat Controllers engines, I noticed that, like, when, like, making slides based on putting the Lorraine Marshall and Kenny illustrations alongside each other, they are actually genuinely new illustrations. They're very heavily traced from the old ones, but, like, when you, like, zoom up real close into them, they are new.
Yeah.
And that blew my mind, because I just assumed for a long time that besides the, like, various edits that may have been made, or, like, you know, making new illustrations from whole cloth, that they were just, like, the same.
Yeah.
But no, they're all new illustrations. I never noticed that before.
I am quite a big fan of the Lorraine Marshall illustrations. Like, I really love the edited Scholarly Railway art. Like, I love this art of Peter Sam. He looks so fucking nice.
He looks really good in the green.
It is very fetching.
Yeah. And I like that the name is painted on.
The only one that doesn't look super great is her Rusty. Because I think the color choice just isn't quite there.
This was one of the ones that made me think that they were all edits instead of new illustrations, just because, like, it looks like a very weird job to try and, like, you know...
It does look like a very weird shop job. And to be honest, it's probably... it's probably a mix of both, if I'm being honest. I'm not her, I don't know what happened.
Like, Sir Handel looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sir Handel looks good.
Look at him. Perfect boy.
He's so smug, I want to throw a brick at him. That's just gonna be the bit forever with Sir Handel, is we're throwing bricks at him.
It's deserved.
Yeah, but, yeah, it is.
Anyway, should we move on?
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't know, this is one of my favorite pictures, to be honest. Like, in the book. I mean, I've got a lot of favorites, but, like, this is really high up there. I like the atmosphere it gives the yard. And how busy it is.
It looks very busy.
Yeah.
Gordon and James are off to the side, sneering.
Yeah.
Edward's not even hiding it, he's just like...
He's like,
oh my god, Duck, shut the fuck up, please. Whereas Duck just has a maniacal smile.
He's blocking my line. And I'll always love the way Kenny just, again, gives it a lot of action by just having guys doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm a very
love
big
the
fan
guy
of the
peering
guys
out of the
doing
brake van.
stuff in the next illustration, actually. Just the posing of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just watching the video I posted on Twitter of my Rosie. Because I just love watching her go.
She looks very fun to have in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, having my H.O. Thomas out again kind of makes me want to, like, pull out my H.O. trains from storage and have them out on a, like, not as a serious layout like my N-scale stuff I want to do, but just, like, you know, have, like, them out somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think I have it in me to seriously collect and model 2 different scales, but, like, I don't know.
I don't know if anybody can survive that in today's economy.
Yeah, definitely fucking not. You know, like, I get some pretty good payment. It's not good enough to support 2 different scales at the same time, I can tell you that fucking much. Especially because I have to, like, get a whole bunch of track. Like, all the track I have is, like, fucking Bachmann Easy track.
That's a shame.
I wouldn't wish the use of Bachmann Easy Track on my worst enemy.
Yeah, me neither. I say as someone who uses Bachmann Easy Track.
I'll be generous to it and say that it makes running on the carpet safer. You know?
It certainly does. But also...
But, you know.
I think it all depends on what you yourself want to do with your model engines.
Yeah. The visitor purred smoothly towards them. That controller climbed down. "Here is Diesel," he said. "I've agreed to give him a trial. He needs to learn. Please teach him, Chuck." "Good morning," purred Diesel in an oily voice.
You're not committing.
"Pleased to meet you, Duck. Is that James? And Henry? And Gordon, too? I am delighted to meet such famous engines." And he purred towards them. The silly engines were flattered. "He has very good manners," they murmured. "We are pleased to have him in our yard." Duck had his doubts. "Devious Diesel!"
There's no fucking way you're actually committing to that voice.
I don't think I should.
So,
But
now, here's the question. So, Diesel has to do at least one of the story introductions, right?
yes, I'll do it.
You're gonna do it with the voice.
I mean,
Anyone could do it.
anyone could do it. You know, like, I love doing that voice so much that I kind of just want to. Like,
Listen, if you keep it up throughout the
Devious
whole
Diesel.
book, it'd be really funny.
we should actually, like, talk about the page now.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, Diesel introduced to us ass first.
we don't see his face.
Diesel's back.
Yeah.
So,
Mattel does care. Or Audrey does care, rather.
so I've spoken about this before, but so I have the name of the channel written down here, but was a channel called Soda Island Models on YouTube who does videos going into like the potential real life number that best fits engines that appear in the books.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think I've heard about
I've talked about this. I don't remember what episode it was, but it makes sense to bring it up
It
here.
was the one with Ginty, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe so. But it makes sense to bring it up here because they did a video on Diesel, and they say that if the illustrations are 100% to be believed, which of course they're probably not,
Grain of
But-
salt, yeah.
if the illustrations can be believed to be 100% accurate, this is definitively what Diesel looked like at the time of his visit, then his number is most likely 13236 at this time.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That
Like,
isn't that one preserved at the Bluebell?
it was preserved at the Bluebell, and
Yes.
it later went into industrial use, I believe.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
So it was on the Bluebell, and I believe it got sold into industrial use. So it's currently doing hire work.
Devious Diesel jobber for hire.
I think we must have talked about
freelancer now!
I think we must have talked about it during that episode too, because I'm pretty sure we made that exact joke.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
When like before, like Devious Diesel is, you know, doing commissions or whatever.
$50 for
Devious
picks.
Diesel will not accept payment in exposure!
It's
You
a
can
deal.
fuck off with
money
that!
through PayPal or nothing.
So, also with Diesel and his number, I really fucking like Joby's post about Diesel.
Mm.
Just, like, I think there's one or two posts, actually, but the main thing I think of is, basically, after Diesel gets sent back, you know, spoilers, after Diesel gets sent back, BR gets wind that Wilbur is working on another book that will feature him. And they basically say to Topham, "Hey man, listen, we know he made an ass of himself, but can you please tell your author friend to remove the number from the book? Because he's like a year old. We don't want to completely fuck him over for life."
Yeah.
And
That
and
that
so
is
Wil-
really funny.
And so Wilbert listens, But in doing so, he changes his name from being his actual number to just Diesel, and doesn't really think about the political implications that would have in railway yards across Britain. Because, you know, the steam engines at this point are already kind of... They're getting wind of what's happening, you know, they're becoming aware of the way things are looking in the future.
Yeah.
And the Diesels are coming in, and they're acting very much like Diesel does, you know.
Yeah.
They weasel their way in, they butter up some of the more powerful engines in the yard, and they fuck shit.
Yeah.
And then the book comes out, and shows Diesel doing that, and they're like, oh, okay, we weren't insane. This is just something they do.
Oh man, yard politics is fucked.
And I remember the post goes into detail about, like, a certain yard where the steam engines and diesel engines realize they have a common enemy in BR management and take over the yard, and the military has to be called in.
Yeah.
Unionize! Let's fucking go!
Basically, read Mean Scarlet Deceiver's Diesel posts because they're absolutely fascinating, because they have a whole fucking plot line of the other 08s being so pissed at him for like 50 different reasons. If you ask 50 08s what Diesel did wrong, you get 50 different answers, essentially. But they also know that they have to shield him to avoid the destruction of the entire class's reputation. So they intentionally jumble the numbers anytime it comes up. So by the end of the next decade, nobody knows what 08 it was. And I think that's fascinating.
That is amazing. God, fucking love Joby posts.
Joby's so cool.
Yeah.
They really are. I don't have much else to say about this page other than, like, you know, here comes Diesel immediately glazing up the 3 big engines.
Flag on the plate. Unnecessary dick riding.
In the show, he doesn't say anything to Percy, who's right there.
Yeah, Percy's just fucking there.
Percy's there, and he just says nothing. God, Diesel's introduction in the TV show is really funny in retrospect, just because it opens with him just, like, you know, hanging out on the turntable with the fucking most maniacal grin on his face. Like,
also,
gee, I sure do wonder if this guy's gonna be trouble.
Also, the implication of him knowing their names that Diesel has read the Railway series.
Yeah,
well, like, the engines are famous.
Yeah,
they just went to London.
Like, it's got better context in the book than the show, really.
Yeah,
but at the same time, though, when you're watching the show, you know, you have the, I don't want to call it suspension of disbelief, but it's like you do still understand that the engines are famous because, well, of course the engines are famous. You can fucking walk down to the shops and buy toys of them. You know?
Diesel walks into an Asda and sees a toy of Duck.
Oh, this shit here.
No. Everywhere I go, I'm reminded of him.
Diesel goes to Toys R Us to try and buy a... Diesel goes to Toys R Us to buy a copy of fucking Madden NFL, and he just sees a toy of Percy.
I just want to get my football video game.
I just want to score some fucking goals!
Yeah.
Also, Diesel's theme is really catchy. Like, it's a good character theme for him.
It is.
But also, I kind of feel like maybe it has some weird undertones.
Yes.
Yeah, like, Mike O'Donnell, like, said at one point that, like, the inspiration for writing it the way it was that, like, oh, you know, Diesel's, like, an oily character, and he runs on oil. Let's use, like, you know, Arabic snake charmer music as inspiration.
I believe that might have been the prompt that David Mitton gave them.
That's the thing, that's what I remember hearing, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but...
sorry, David Mitton dick writers. He was kind of racist and sexist.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't want to be all, hey, hello, I am a white person. Here is why this thing is not racist, actually. Because, no, it's still a bit dubious, but at the same time, I feel like maybe we need to pick our battles.
Yeah.
Because...
It's not the end of the world, it's also, like, still kind of shitty, though.
Yeah, it definitely is. But, like, fucking Junior Campbell, in his upload of the theme, like, listed a whole bunch of different influences for Diesel's theme, like, there's some Steely Dan in there, and you could definitely hear that. There's a big fucking parallel between Diesel's theme and Do It Again. But, yeah, the sort of snake charmery music aspect of it, that's kind of not on.
Yeah.
It's not great.
However, the funniest video I've ever seen is French Diesel.
That's true!
I don't remember
it does
who
sound
made
kind of
Diesel.
French. I don't remember either, but it's so fucking good. Put French Diesel in the video right now.
Yeah.
Devious Diesel. Devious Diesel.
Devious Diesel.
Like, I feel like, you know, I feel like by the time that we reach, like, the Season 6 version of Diesel's theme, it sounds a bit less like the Snake Charmer thing and sounds a bit more like just, like...
Yeah.
Something else.
It's more,
you know? Like...
Just general villain.
It's more, like, it's got a bit more in common with, like, sort of tango than anything else. Even fucking Junior Campbell says it in his upload of the theme. Fucking Diesel goes dancing in like iMovie text on screen.
You know more music than I do, so thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I need to go back and listen to his Season 6 theme. I haven't heard it in a long time.
I love his Season 6 theme, actually.
It's good. It's only in fucking the World's Strongest Engine for obvious reasons, but like,
no,
it's pretty good.
It's in Fergus Breaks the Rules too.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I guess that makes sense. The music in Season 6 and 7 were basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, Season 7 music is basically just like... God, I'm preparing for backlash here. Season 7's music is basically just Season 6's music, but slightly worse.
Ooh.
Like, there's some good tracks in there. There's, like, one of the best Henry themes. All the new character themes are all pretty good. I'm just not a fan of how, like, it feels like literally every instrument is woodwinds, and they add so many cartoony sound effects to the tracks at any given moment.
Well, that's just fun.
I mean...
I will argue purely in the context of Spencer.
Spencer's theme... Like I said, the new character themes are all good. It's just, you know, I feel like, in general...
Like,
it wasn't as good as Season 6.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but I swear to God they play like a slide whistle when Spencer comes by.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the slide whistles.
Yeah, I love the slide whistle. I really love it. It's so good.
Okay, yeah. I'm just looking at Junior Campbell's upload now, and it's Oily and Sneaky was director David Mitten's brief. We Are Revolutionary. So that like corroborates half of Mike O'Donnell's thing. So like it definitely was David Mitten's idea. But it also says in the description, Diesel's theme started out as a dissonant Steely Dan type habanera on first appearance in Series 2 and ended in Series 6 as an Argentine tango. Inspiration drawn from one of the truly great Sherman Brothers sneaky character themes. ... I'm with Diesel. ... Always. ... He got a bad press. ...
Wow.
Skip a line. Trust in me.
I can't believe Junior Campbell is advocating for the destruction of the steam engines. That's so fucked up.
So,
a bit of fun. ...
Wait, so it was inspired by Trust in Me from the Jungle Book?
Yeah, a little bit.
I can hear that, actually. That's a really good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jungle Book's actually, like, really good. It's still really good.
Jungle Book fucking bangs, yeah.
It's been forever since I've watched The Jungle Book. But that was my little brother's, like, favorite Disney VHS tape as a kid.
So the thing, I've said it before, I didn't grow up with, like, Renaissance Disney. I grew up with, with, like, Fantasia and Mary Poppins and The Jungle Book and shit like that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
My mom and dad fucking like hated the Renaissance Disney stuff, so they just stocked like all the fucking losers from the 60s and like the classic stuff that they grew up with.
I'm genuinely so sad I didn't have The Great Mouse Detective growing up because I fucking loved that film.
Oh god, me too.
Yeah, I've still never seen it.
I would love to show you The Great Mouse Detective, Jamie.
I'm always down
We
to
should
watch that movie.
We should definitely watch that at some point.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else to say about this page?
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
the bottom line of what I'm saying about Diesel's theme is that
Okay.
influences can come from just about anywhere, and examining the biases on those is not without merit. But like I said before, I think we need to pick our battles if people are gonna get legitimately upset over a piece of music from a children's TV show from the 80s.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
It was 40 years ago.
Yeah. I feel like Daisy's theme is a lot more objectionable than
Absolutely.
Diesel's theme, all things considered.
Most definitely.
Because, like,
if only
Diesel's
because
theme,
of
I'd
the
argue,
implications.
evolved beyond.
Yeah.
Like, Diesel's theme, I'd argue, evolved beyond the connotations in which it originally began.
Yeah.
Because of the whole, like, tango thing we brought up earlier.
Yeah.
Daisy's theme did not evolve whatsoever until they just invented a new one years later.
Yeah.
Both of Daisy's character themes are really good, though, admittedly.
Yeah.
They're good.
They're
It's
good.
just,
It's
you
just,
know,
what the fuck were they...
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
okay.
just David Mitton,
And
again, was a sexist asshole.
And in fairness, okay, The Stripper is an iconic piece of music, and
It is.
I guess I can see, like, oh yeah, it'd be cool if it were like sort of something like this, but then you realize what it's actually for, and it's like, dude,
Yeah. Why are you saddling your only woman with this?
The point of this is that David Mitton was not a perfect guy, and he was kind of shitty in a lot of ways.
yep,
Yeah.
brilliant
It'd be
director,
nice.
but
Yeah, brilliant director.
Massive
Tugs is
asshole.
pretty cool.
holy
Not a
shit.
perfect guy by any stretch of the imagination, and people need to stop treating him like the most perfect auteur ever to touch Thomas.
Yeah. The only perfect
Like-
auteur to ever touch Thomas is me.
True!
I love the engines getting their egos stroked by just this one guy who's showed up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they're all like, yo, wait, this guy's alright.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo,
like, I
hey.
fucking love the half of Gordon's face you can see in this illustration. Like, oh.
He's like, oh shit, yo, hey. Yo!
I love the implication that, like, James and Diesel are just face to face here.
Oh yeah!
Yeah!
Have you noticed that? Where's Henry?
Like,
He isn't.
yeah, where the fuck Henry go? Like, why isn't he in the shed?
no,
Is he,
Is he behind
like,
Duck?
You know what I'm gonna assume?
I mean, James...
You know what I'm gonna assume?
Maybe? What?
It's literally just Diesel didn't care and he heard Henry was the green one, so he's just calling Duck Henry.
Oh my god!
That would be so fucking funny!
And that's why Duck's immediately annoyed with him.
Wait!
That would be so...
Oh my god!
Like, he heard Gordon was the blue one, James was the red one, and Henry was the green one that are at Tidmouth. So he turns up, and he sees Duck. It's like, this must be Henry.
Are you Henry the Green Engine?
This
You're
one
my
must be Henry.
favorite.
I love Billy Rushton's
Nope.
Diesel voice,
Wait.
by the way. It's fucking
Yeah.
iconic.
Oh god, I forgot to listen to his narration before getting into this.
I listened to all of them today. Including
right,
the fucking
because-
Storytime podcast version, by the way.
Oh god.
And I'll get to that
Oh my
later.
god, I totally forgot to like think about that one when writing notes. That one's interesting. We should remember to talk about that.
Yep, I made a note for it on page 6.
Should we continue?
Sure. Come on, he said shortly. Ah, yes, said Diesel. The yard, of course. Excuse me, engines. And he purred after Duck, talking hard. Your worthy fat Sir Topham Hatt to you, ordered Duck. Diesel looked hurt. Your worthy Sir Topham Hatt thinks I need to learn. He is mistaken. We Diesels don't need to learn. We know everything. We come to a yard and improve it. We are revolutionary. Oh, said Duck. If you're rev-a-thingamy, perhaps you would collect my trucks while I fetch Gordon's coaches.
Take my
Okay, now we can go.
revolution.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
I love the
Oh.
I love the idea that Diesel is just like genuinely a little bit upset.
Well, yeah, because
because Duck's
Duck's fucking laid
Duck's
waste
not
to his
buying what
ego
he's
for a
selling.
moment.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Also,
it's
also, just I think we've made this joke at least in my server before, but the fact that Railway Series Diesel starts off as nothing but chin, and then Egg Diesel becomes nothing but forehead.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Have I shown you guys my fridge, by the way?
I don't believe you have.
Yeah, let me show you my fridge.
Very excited to see where this
Okay.
is going.
I think I know where this is going, but
Yeah.
I want to see it anyway. Yeah. New rule. I will keep your ice cream cold for you.
See, Andrew.
New rule: stop putting vegetables in the crisper on the right side of the fridge. It's really annoying.
So, Andrew,
Yeah.
when you said, "Have I shown you my fridge?" You wanna know for some reason what my first thought was?
What?
The Xbox Series X, just with Diesel's face.
Well, now I know what edit to spend the rest of this recording session making.
Yeah.
just this, but it's Railway Series Diesel's face here.
Yep, exactly what I was gonna do.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
While you're doing that, I have a fucking rant that I want to go on about the conflict of Duck versus Diesel.
Yes,
Can
go
I
ahead.
can I talk real quick about just my smaller
Yes.
observations with this? Just
Yes, you
that
may.
I'm very, very keen on how quickly Diesel just switched up on everyone.
Yeah, like, as soon as he's talking to some nobody, he's immediately just saying that he's an ontologically superior being.
Yeah, he is deliciously up himself. It's fantastic. Like he's really like throwing his like familiarity with the engines around too. Like, you know, trying to like play like he's sort of in with them on the same level, kind of.
He's just learned that this isn't Henry, so he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're worthy fat controller thinks I need to learn. But, you know, Duck corrects him on his proper name because you're not from around here.
He's not close enough with Charles yet to say that.
You don't know him like that.
Yeah.
You don't know him like
Is this
that.
the first time they've said Sir Topham Hatt in the books?
I believe so.
Like, I know we've seen the name before in the illustrations, but is it the first time they say it?
I believe so.
Pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Yeah,
I kind of like that Duck is the first one to name drop him, because I believe that Duck is the first, engine that Charles himself brings in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is, actually.
It also makes sense that Duck would be towing the line on the whole nickname thing, since, like, I figure Duck probably wouldn't call him that a lot of the time, just because he's so polite and respecting of authority.
I have seen quite a lot of fan content that, you know, the fan controller doesn't necessarily have favorites, but if you had to ask Charles, he'd probably say it's the first engine he brought to the railway.
Yeah. Which, I can't say I blame Charles for that particularly.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, Charles made a pretty good first...
Teehee, #1 Duck fan.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
Duck's strongest
to be
soldier.
Fair, to be honest, like, Charles would be based for that, because, like, he did make a really good first addition to the Railway. He also made a really good second addition to the Railway, and third, and fourth, and fifth, and
Charles is the
sixth
best fat
and seventh.
controller, is the conclusion.
Yeah.
like
He brought in all the best engines.
like I love, again, another Joby thing. Fat Controller 1 would have disowned Charles and made Thomas his legal firstborn if he could. And Charles is noticeably a lot less lenient on Thomas than either Topham 1 or Steven is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Charles really likes Duck.
Yeah.
So
That's why he's the GOAT!
I think
The
it's really
GOAT!
funny to imagine that it's like like Thomas is the stepbrother that Charles never really got used to.
The stepbrother Charles wishes wasn't. Well, now I've got to wonder, what if we lived in a dark alternate universe where the cycle of childhood, whatever it is, continued, and Stephen had a complex towards Duck in the same way Charles had a complex towards Thomas.
That would be the generational trauma Thomas film that would have a realistic depiction of a panic attack.
True.
So,
Who
would
then Stephen would have to...
who would Stephen's baby be?
Fucking... I don't know. Pip and Emma? the austerity engine, I guess?
Yeah, the austerity engine, I guess. That'd be his canon introduction to the IP. Charles doesn't... sorry, I said Charles out of instinct. Stephen doesn't fucking bring in anybody besides Pip and Emma, does he?
Not really.
I mean, I guess that's more to do with the fact that publishers didn't fucking want Chris to do anything new, but, like, it's weird thinking about it that way, huh?
Yeah.
It's actually quite weird to me that they never made any toys of Pip and Emma, because you would assume that the high-speed train unit would be something they'd want for the toys.
Yeah, like, that would have made a pretty good Erdl pack, I think.
Yeah.
Wooden Railway might be a bit more difficult to swing, because that's, they'd have to pack them like the express coaches, which I feel like is a thing they didn't like doing.
Yeah.
But, speaking of interesting things... Something I think about with Duck and Diesel as a conflict is that they both have the superficial similarity of being proud of themselves and who they are, and getting very, like, uppity and vocal about it. I feel like this is why people, like, talk about Duck versus Diesel as, like, a very thematic, of them being thematic equals a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like a distinction between them that most people overlook. Is that Duck is proud of his heritage and way of doing things. And I feel like being proud of the Great Western Way is not an exclusive idea. Regardless of if he thinks doing things a non-Western way is wrong, anyone can do things the Great Western Way. He says he tries to get them to do things the Great Western Way in the last story. So I don't think he really, I don't think he believes at all that any of his fellow engines are inferior to him because they're not Western. Diesel, meanwhile, believes that he and his fellow Diesels know better because they are Diesels, and there's nothing a steam engine can do to convert to that way of thinking. He's just better because of the type of machine that he is.
Yeah, they're better. I feel like he believes that they're better because they're the new thing, and that's what they're basically built to believe.
Yeah. I feel like most people don't think about that when comparing Duck and Diesel together, but a lot of people are really stupid when comparing them anyway, so water's blue, grass is green,
and
brother,
I hurt people.
The thing with Duck and Diesel is that,
brother, my socks are wet.
So the thing with, Duck and Diesel is, people always say, oh, Duck's the antagonist. You're like, no, he isn't. He just made someone look like a bit of a jackass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, that's not even that hard, because he just did that by himself.
Yeah,
this is incredibly
Diesel was
common.
very much hoisted by his own petard.
This is incredibly common in the workforce. some new guy comes in, thinks he's hot shit, says, I know how to do this better than you do because I'm younger and have better ideas, and the older crowd are like, okay, and give them enough rope to hang themselves. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
and the thing is, Duck didn't hold a grudge about this, did he? Like,
No.
literally,
No, he didn't.
in the next story, he's like, hey, I'm sorry they're still giving you shit, that wasn't my plan.
Yeah.
Like, it was, okay, you think you're tough shit, I'll bring you down to earth a bit, and then we can get on with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's you know, even if you want, you know, even if you are want to be hyper empathetic about the situation and feel bad for Diesel being humiliated on his first day on the job, you know, he brought it on himself, so we don't need to glaze him for it.
Duck's action here is inaction, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Diesel says he doesn't
Mullet-
need help, so Duck leaves him to it, and Diesel fucks up.
Yeah.
yeah. You know, one might, you know, if pressed, one might call it malicious compliance, perhaps, but like, still, no matter how you slice it,
When you put yourself...
Diesel is the one fucking up.
Yeah. Like, put yourself in Duck's position, you'd likely want to do the same for someone who's being that much of an asshole to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, really understandable.
And if you're in Diesel's
By the way.
position... if you're in Diesel's position, the mature thing to do here is, after you've gotten, you know, your taste of karma, you can say, okay, I was being an asshole, can you show me how to do this right?
Yeah.
Diesel doesn't do that
Yeah.
because he is not emotionally mature enough to do that.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
that actually is what the Storytime podcast version of the story goes for instead.
Yeah,
That Diesel does realize that he's been an asshole and should have listened to what Duck had said. This, however,
Yeah.
is also from the evil timeline where dirty work didn't happen.
that's true. It's from the mirror universe,
This-
so that means that, you know, that
This
means
is-
that the steam engines are, like, you know, evil and kick puppies and stuff like that.
Yes.
And Edward has a goatee.
This is
Just him!
this is from the universe where Cranky, despite not being a train, gets on the worst trains in the podcast list. So,
Yeah, that's true.
also, I bring it up every time something like this comes up, but my favorite thing that any piece of media has ever done to signify that we're in an evil mirror universe, right?
Yeah.
Is CBBC classic A Little Red Tractor, which was a show about a little red tractor and his owner,
Okay.
whose name was Stan, and they worked on a
Yeah.
farm, and they got into mishaps.
Yeah.
And there was like a big blue tractor, and there was like a ATV whose name was Nipper, and there was a car named Sparky, and all that stuff. And the way they signified that they were in an evil dream universe was that everybody wore a beret.
So they're French. Of course they're evil.
That was literally the only difference. It's that
Devious Diesel.
it's that every character wore a beret and really wanted to kill Little Red Tractor.
Oh no!
It all comes back to French Diesel.
I've been staring at the illustration for this page the entire time we've been talking, which is, you know, the illustration that they use on the cover of the book, and, you know, like every cover of the book, like it's also on the 98. And I like the two guys just staring at the two engines side by side.
Yeah.
This is just a great picture of both of them.
Yeah.
Because I love the kind of unspoken thing here of these two guys being like, oh, look at this thing.
Yeah.
That's new.
And, it's... God, I don't remember where I learned this, to be honest, and I tried looking for a source. Really did not go well. So, if you know more about this shit than me, then let me know in the Discord. Like, tag me in the episodes chat and be like, yes, Andrew, it actually was, this thing, and for once I won't, like, fucking react with a nerd emoji. So early BR diesels, like chiefly the shunters, were fitted with air whistles in an attempt to give the former steam crews a sense of familiarity when they just started, driving the new machines. And if you look in this illustration, you can see that Diesel has an air whistle.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
That's neat.
Yeah. And how well this went is... I'm gonna be honest, that was something I don't remember and was trying to find information on and couldn't. But it is to be said that gradually 08s were fitted with horns instead of whistles, but that certainly wouldn't have happened by the 50s. It was too early for that.
It's too early to tell.
Shut the fuck up.
I think one of the things about Diesel that, like, I find interesting is that he's all black except for the red of his buffer beam.
Yeah.
Which, like, I feel like from the modern understanding of British diesels is really weird. Because, like, when we think of British railway diesels now, we think of, like, having the yellow panel on the front.
Yeah.
This was like a very, very early livery for the 08s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They didn't have it for very long.
Hell, it's even a variant on that livery because they're all red rods at first, I believe.
Ooh.
I believe that may have actually been like a works to works thing. Kind of similar to how the Caledonian had multiple different hues. But
well, yeah, that was just. I mean, that I don't know. That was just them having slightly different like paint mixtures.
Yeah, but like you kind of get what I mean, though. It's like it's different depending on where you are.
It's different depending on like which shops like outshopped the engines, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what just so happens to be in your yard.
I want to say that it was the ones with silver. Either the ones with silver rods are from Derby, or the ones with red rods are from Derby, but I can't remember.
I wouldn't know.
I think the red rods would have been from Derby.
Yeah. I that sounds more accurate to me, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. Fucking Derby.
Fucking Derby.
Horridge had to get there.
Yeah, he did.
I hope Diesel never gets to go to Derby ever again.
He's not welcome.
Diesel, delighted to show off, purred away. With much banging and clashing, he collected a row of trucks. Duck left Gordon's coaches in the station and came back. Diesel was now trying to take some trucks from a nearby siding. They were old and empty. Clearly, they had not been touched for a long time. Their brakes would not come off properly. Diesel found them hard to move. Push, pull, backwards, forwards. The trucks groaned. We can't! We won't! Duck watched the operation with interest.
What in the Star Wars alien dying was that noise?
It was good, I liked it.
I don't fucking know, I just made noises.
It was good.
Anyway, bolt and nut engineering.
Yeah. Love that shit.
I love the writing of it. Clearly, they had not been moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I didn't even notice that until this read-through, but, like, they're clearly not in use, but that won't stop Diesel, because he can't read.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just reminds me, Lemmy's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
I'm not massive on all his writing, but I do really like something he did, which is just the implication that Diesel's just kind of shit at shunting.
Yes.
Yeah, I had that in my notes, which is that, it might just be being, Web of Lies brained because it's peak fiction, but, like, reading just the fact that Diesel does his shunting by, like, banging around the yard with, like, no grace whatsoever does definitely lend to me believing the idea that Diesel's actually pretty shit at shunting.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really funny, because the whole thing with the 08s is they're, like, the most efficient shunters we ever built.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, they're still being used today.
They're the
Yeah.
only shunting engine still used today.
Basically, the only shunting engines in the UK are these and a couple quarries that imported some American switchers.
Like,
Yeah,
quarries
and
are a little
and
different.
the one that got fucked on the tunnel.
Yeah.
Quarries are a little different because, they're, like,
Yeah.
independent industrial use. Like, in terms of, like, mainline companies, like the big companies,
Yeah.
it's all 08s, pretty much. It's all fucking sand, Spider-Man.
Diesel lost patience. Grrr, he roared, and gave a great heave. Make sure to edit it so that it, like, kind of gets rid of the, like, little gap between my words there. The trucks jerked forward. Arr! Arr! They screamed. We can't! We won't! Some of their brakes broke, and the gear hanging down bumped on the rails and sleepers. We can't! We won't! Ah! Their trailing brakes caught on the point and locked themselves solid. Grrr! Roared Diesel. A rusty coupling broke, and he shot forward suddenly by himself. Ha ha ha! Chuckled Duck. It's the face!
Yeah, it's the back.
It's the...
So I wasn't fully understanding the space in the TV series, but there are certain shots in this scene where it looks like the sidings that, like, the ones that, like, kind of bump up along the edge of the two lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half of them are gone.
Huh. Interesting.
There's that kind
Like
of...
in the episode?
Yeah, so you know, like, the Brendan Warehouse building, right?
Yeah.
That's there.
Yeah.
That was kind of my marker, because the sidings usually get quite close to it, There's a little bit of gap, obviously, but for the most part, they get pretty close to the building. But there are certain shots, like, I want to say the one where the brake gets stuck, fantastic effect.
Yeah. They just flip one of the trucks over.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to say it's in that shot, but I could be misremembering. The sidings just aren't there, and you can see the building in the shot I'm thinking of. Like, I'll try and find it after we're done recording it, and I'll put it in the chat, so you guys can see. Also, just
Yeah.
the fact that the TV show signifies the trucks are hard to move by just derailing one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. The TV series just fucked up the scene in its entirety, I think.
Yeah.
Because, like, we don't even get the scene where Diesel pops off.
Yeah,
Like,
we don't.
we see the scene of him, like, recovering, but, like, we don't actually get the glory shot. We don't get the, like, narration of Diesel, like, like, we just don't get the moment where Diesel does the popping from Pop Goes the Diesel.
Yeah.
And, like, I have to assume they just, like, forgot to film some scene and it just fell apart in the edit. Because it's very weirdly put together
Yeah.
in the final scene.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what...
Not,
I don't know
not
what
one
the
of
fuck
Rebecca's
happened.
best, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sorry, Rebecca de Bergmound. You're usually goated in these episodes, but man.
maybe it's, like, the version I was watching, but, like, there's one shot where, like, before the cranes come in, where the flatbed is just there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Diesel
'cause
backs
they have
down
to,
onto
like...
the flatbed. And not
Yeah, they, like...
the trucks.
They use... Yeah, like, they just fucked it up. They fucked up either filming or they fucked up in the edit and it just didn't end up working out. And I think they had to use that footage for that scene just because they couldn't make what they'd already filmed work.
Yeah. Either way, it's shit. They did it wrong. They fucked it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It's
really sad.
For the most part, I think this
Because-
episode's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for the most part. It's just they
It just
fuck up
falls
the
apart
entire
there.
the entire punchline of the story just kind of falls flat because, like, why is it Pop Goes the Diesel if Diesel doesn't pop off?
Yeah.
I'm popping off!
Like, there aren't even any points for the truck's brakes to lock into. Either.
Yeah!
Because, like Diesel, like, what happens is, you know, the brakes snap when Diesel finally gets them moving, because, you know, it's a row of fucking rusted up old trucks that have had their brakes on for, like, ages. And,
Yeah.
you know, he finally gets them moving, and then they, you know, they
It
lock
jams
themselves
the
solid
points.
on the points. Yeah. That's where the coupling snaps and Diesel fucking pops forward, and that is the pop. You have to
Yeah.
pop it! You have to pop! You have to pop! I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry to bring this up, but I was reminded of it a few days ago while I was with an IRL friend of mine, and I'm just gonna bring it up again. It's this old edit of fucking Alex Jones trying to open a pickle jar to try and disprove Hillary Clinton having done so on television. And the first thing he says is, "That's not how you open a can of pickles. You have to pop it." They just fucking like keep playing the fucking clip of him saying "pop it" over and over again, and it's so fucking funny.
Oh, God. Diesel's such a fucking wet cat.
Yeah.
It's not how you open a can of pickles. God, I'm glad he's lost money. All of his money.
Yeah, I'm so glad he's lost money. I need him to lose more.
I need him to lose more. Maybe his life, too. I don't know.
Back to the face, though. Is this actually the first time we see the iconic, like, Kenny laughing face? Because, like, Jinty has a similar face, but it's not as, like, all-consuming as Duck's here.
Yeah. Jinty's was sort of the proto Kenny laughing
Yeah.
face.
This isn't related to the face. I just really love how Kenny draws Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, he's a very appealing square.
He is so freaking small.
He gets his shape down in a really, really appealing way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Diesel recovered and tried to push the trucks back, but they wouldn't move, and he had to give up. Duck ran quietly round to where the other trucks all stood in line. "Thank you for arranging these, Diesel," he said. "I must go now."
Don't you want this lot?
"No, thank you." Diesel gulped.
And I've taken all this trouble.
He almost shrieked.
Why didn't you tell me?
"You never asked me. Besides," said Duck innocently, "you were having such fun being whatever you said it was. Goodbye." I love how small Duck's face is in this illustration.
Yeah.
Also, I love how Diesel failed in every conceivable way here. Because it's like,
Yeah.
he failed at moving the trucks, and he failed at selecting the trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because usually when you're arranging a train like this, the numbers of the trucks are pre-decided.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, why the fuck was he going for these? He didn't need them. They weren't on the roster. What was he thinking?
What was he thinking? What was his plan?
Bro was on to nothing.
Maybe his idea was like, oh, if I move these and I can get them on Duck's train, he'll look like a jackass because he doesn't need these.
Yeah.
What is his
Silly
plan?
little man. Yeah. What is his plan?
I love
And
that
of course,
see...
Duck just being like, lol, Lamau even.
He's such a petty little bitch.
He really is.
I love that you
I
can see
love him.
the notable rust on the wheels of the trucks.
Yeah, they're like definitely a different color.
I like it.
It's quite consistent throughout.
Yeah.
All the other
I love all the workmen rushing towards him too.
Yeah.
Why the fuck? Ow. If only I'd listened to virtually anyone.
You know,
Me sowing. Ha ha ha! This is great. Me reaping.
What the fuck? This sucks!
This fucking sucks!
Jamie, I genuinely thought you were going to say, me, Grimlock.
They're pretty similar, you know? Devious Diesel, me, Grimlock.
Devious Diesel love chewy cookie.
Me, Grimlock, revolutionary. Steam engines bad. Dinosaurs good.
Turned into Scooby there for a moment.
A little bit.
I am revolutionary.
There's like 3... Grimlock is like 3 degrees of separation away from Frank Welker's Scooby-Doo anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah. Transform. Brain Boy Advance Secret Code.
Diesel had to help the workmen clear the mess. He hated it. All the trucks and coaches were laughing. Presently, he heard them singing. Their song grew louder and louder, and soon it echoed through the yard. Trucks are waiting in the yard, tackling them with easel. Show the world what I can do, gaily boast the diesel. In and out he creeps about, like a big black weasel. When he pulls the wrong trucks out, pop goes the diesel. Grrr, he growled, and scuttling away, sulked in the shed.
I love how they do the song in the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the sped up. I think it's Mike and Jr.
Yeah, it's Mike
Yeah.
and Jr. doing
And
it.
then overlaying Ringo over it. Just something about that is very charming to me.
It's pretty good. I like, you know, I don't know if I like it necessarily, but I do find it amusing the way Bruce Alexander does it, where he just comes up with an entirely new tune to sing it to for no reason.
Yes! He does it more like a show number than Willie Rushton, the guy who, just, you know, more frequently did shit like that, did. And that's fascinating.
I also, you know, quite like the Troublesome Trucks just singing songs about people fucking up. It's like, come on, England! Score some
Come on, have a
goals!
go! If you think you're hard enough!
You know, I love the implication from this and Pop Goes O'Dolly that the Sodor Trucks literally only know one song, and it's Pop Goes the Weasel.
That would be so fucking funny. I want that to be canon. And look, here we go. We were talking about the Kenny laughing face last page. Here it is now on all of the trucks.
It's the Ouija virus from back in the day. Y'all remember that? Old internet.
I'm old enough for a veterans discount.
Yep. Yep. That was before you got the dud.
Do you want to move into rankings?
No.
Okay.
I have a lot to say in conclusion on this story.
Alright.
And indeed, that there's something that's been glossed over here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that the coaches get in on it too.
Oh my god, they do.
Mm-hmm.
I hope Annie and Clarabelle were here.
I hope so too.
I hope Henrietta was here.
No, because amongst all these, like, you know, grubby fucking open wagons and vans and shit, you got these nice Mark 1s that are all like, oh, check this shit out, and Pop goes the diesel.
That's so funny. Oh, what a silly little engine.
The coaches can secretly be gossipy shit stirrers too. You know, people don't think about that enough. People really, really don't.
Yeah, like it's because I never had faces in the show besides the named ones. I swear to God.
Yeah. Like I swear there was like, actually, you know, it was one of the those fucking learning books with like the My First Thomas kind of illustrations to them. It's one of them. It's about Gordon going too fast, and you'll never guess what the title is.
Gordon goes too fast.
Gordon snorts crack.
Bingo. Anyway, yeah, part of it does just have Henry taking the express because the coaches don't trust Gordon in a surprise twist. So like it that giving them that level of personality like does also, I think, lend itself to dated views on women as a whole. And I wrote in my notes to, like, turn this into a bit and cap it off with an, I hate women, by the way, without elaborating. But I think there's something legitimately fascinating to delve into here, as for the characters of the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Just that, you know, they can be gossipy like the trucks, too. It's just that they're much quieter about it. They're more refined.
Yeah.
The trucks are very, you know, they're always fucking loud and like jeering insults at the engines, like
See,
penis face.
I've just had a thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the trucks are very low on the social ladder, and they're very loud. The coaches are relatively high on the social ladder, but they're very quiet about it.
Yes.
The passengers are a fusion of the two of them.
Yes, they are.
They're the worst of both. They're the worst of both fucking worlds.
Yeah.
And somehow even more annoying to the engines and the fat controller.
And the Gordon Goes Too Fast book you brought up.
Yeah.
You know, if that is its name. Gordon snorts cocaine, rather.
Crack, actually.
I remember I had a book in that series, and it's the one where James gets painted with flowers.
Yes.
I thought it was neat as a kid that, like, oh wow, a story about James getting a slightly different, like, you know, paint thing. That's so cool.
Oh, okay. I decided to Google it. Yeah, I know this. Like, all those books.
Yeah.
I love that guy's art. It's like one of my favorite art styles series ever had.
Most of it is Robin Davies, who did the Story Library books.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But some of the other ones, like I think that they're the James one and the Edward one, were done by a different guy, and you can kind of tell because it looks a lot cheaper. There's a lot of like copy pasting of stuff, and yeah, it's just generally not as thought through.
Like, so, you know, I totally understand why it didn't become a relatively regular art style the series used, but this is one of my favorite looks the series ever had.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's genuinely so cute.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, there's the thing. Shit, was it Wilbur or Chris that said that Thomas is about as cute as a loaded gun?
That was the Rev.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I think he was being dramatic.
I think so too, but it is still fucking hilarious. I told that to my IRL friend when I was seeing her.
It's
the other day,
a
and it was
funny
just, like that was something that like she made a point in like pinning in her brain notes.
Right.
Hold on.
You know,
Hey, hit this is fantastic. I love this.
Yeah. That's Robin Davies.
I love the way that this particular art style does the steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it in a nice cartoony way that like is well, it's just satisfying to look at.
Yeah. Like, listen, if they did a 2D animated Thomas reboot and it was animated like this, like it was drawn like this, I would be thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be on board with it.
Because this looks
It'd
wonderful.
be pretty fucking good. Yeah. Like, All Engines Go is basically just, like, you know, the soulless corporate version of this in terms of art style.
Yeah.
I remember very distinctly it was, I think it was Sleepy Henry once, tagged me in a tweet because I had been asking who did these books. Because I really liked this art, and obviously at the time I didn't realize it was the person who did the Story Library books. And she tagged me, it's like, hey, So I think I figured out who did those books you really like. And so it made me very happy that I had just become associated with this art style in someone's mind.
Aw.
Because
That
this
is
art style
nice.
makes me really happy.
Yeah.
It's just very, like-
it's my
It's very
favorite style.
it's very like you know, it's very nostalgic to me in a way. Like
Yeah.
I had a book which was it's one of my favorite Thomas books, and it was this style, and it featured all of engines 1 to 11. Like there was this one illustration I remember that's like there's like a station and like a couple of sheds, and like Douglas was in one of the sheds and Donald was going by
Oh!
with some trucks.
Was there a car?
I think there was a car.
Hold on. Yeah, because I think I might know what one you're on about. Like in the foreground, there's like a clown driving his car over a hill.
Oh. It's like it's been a very long time since I've seen it, so I can't remember the fine details. But I just remember like just staring at that particular illustration for so long and just trying to find all the details.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my god, it's like all of them! I love them! The silly little guys! Thomas is good.
Yeah. Here, I think I found it. I nearly sent that in the announcements chat. That would not have been very good.
Yeah, this one!
There was this. Yeah,
Whoa.
I love this one. I really, really love this one.
It's so fucking cute.
I love Gordon's face here too. He's like, "Oh, what?"
I love the way that this particular...
I didn't get enough sleep this morning. I'm eepy.
This particular art style, like, the faces of the engines are so simple, but they're so expressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. And I love the diesel tankers there too. The red oil tankers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
with the
are
star
fun.
on it, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like if they were gonna do, like, a Thomas comic book, right? And they had to
Yeah.
do, you know how most comic books have to, like, character appears in the issue for the first time, their name pops up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they did that kind of like this, where it was in the Steam, I think that'd be really good.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I've been trying to read Transformers comics lately, and I feel like a lot of them really would benefit from, like, showing a character's name alongside them whenever they show up for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to, like, fucking start More Than Meets the Eye, and it's like, okay, who the fuck are half of these guys? I can't tell just by looking at the... Like, they're like, they don't look exactly like they look like in, like, whatever show they're from. So I just have no idea who they are unless they, like, unless they're, like, a main character.
Yeah.
And have introduced themselves.
That's like one of the things that I kind of miss from the transition from Archie Sonic to IDW Sonic, actually, because the very early IDW Sonic issues had the character name drops, but they stopped in, like, issue 6 and then never brought it back.
Yeah, what the heck?
Whereas, like, Archie Sonic had that in every issue from the very start to the very end. And it was, like, really helpful, because, like, there were a lot of fucking Sonic characters.
Yeah, it's, good to get a refresher whenever they show up. I think it's just one of those things where, like, certain comic authors or artists will be like, no, it takes away from the cinematic experience of this comic book if I include continuity notes from the editor.
The continuity
You're-
notes
if
are
you're
there
confused,
for a
fuck
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, maybe it'd be good to have, like, a citation of which comic I should read if I want to understand what the fuck is happening and why this plot point is the way it is in this book.
Like,
Yeah.
like I feel like if I had gone in and read Archie Sonic, then, like, without editor notes, I would have had a panic attack.
Yeah, like,
Like,
it's crazy.
like, oh, what the fuck do you mean? Tails' parents were stuck on another planet that's the shape of a ring, and they were taken there by aliens who de-roboticized everybody? What the fuck do you... Excuse me? Can you give me
So-
any context, please?
in looking for that particular illustration, I searched up Douglas in my camera roll, and I've been greeted with this gem, which includes many other gems.
Donald and Douglas funny moments.
Yeah, Donald and Douglas funny moments, but just it's the fucking picture of Gordon there. Like, why can't everyone be like me? It's like
Feel free.
he's just sort of there like, why can't everyone be just like me?
Yeah, feel free to cut out me talking over you.
It's okay.
I also love that you can see here the second take that the promo art studio did on Donald and Douglas.
Yeah.
Like, except as, like, art that got colored in.
Yeah.
I think that whoever fucking did that did a pretty good job, honestly.
Duck had to help Donald when he fell into a hole. Where did that hole come from?
Oh boy. Should we do the ranking?
Yeah, let's do the ranking.
Yeah, sure.
I like the story. It's fun and a neat introduction to everyone's pathetic wet cat. Fuck. I'm gonna take that from the top. I like this story. It's fun and neat and introduces everyone's favorite pathetic wet cat, Diesel. I don't know what ranking to give it, honestly. Just because, like...
You could give it a duck to be really funny.
I think it would actually... I'll give it a duck, because that's funny.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's a good story, solid, A+, I think it, it's good. And opens up interesting things that will continue to unfold next time.
Yes.
I wish I had a better conclusion to give to my thoughts on this story, but like my brain's just been not fucking working in my attempts to like write notes for the story for whatever reason. So like fucking
It happens sometimes.
This is the best you're getting.
It'd be like that sometimes.
This is the best you're getting, and it's a duck.
I mean, to be fair, duck is the best to get.
I'd probably see. I'm torn between a Toby and a duck, because like I like this story, but I'm not like in love with it. It's not one of my favorites. Like I really like it. I have a really good time with it, but it's also not the story that I go back to all that much. Like if I'm gonna go back to this book, I usually go back to A Close Shave generally.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of the same way. Not really. When I go back to this book, I kind of just go back to the whole thing because I just really, really like it.
Yeah.
But I guess for ranking, I think I'll say Toby.
I'll give it a Donald. I fucking love this story, and I actually had meant to go on a bit of a rant at the end of the previous page, but we got sort of sidetracked talking about other stuff. But like, it's really fascinating to me that this story is sort of an exploration of the ramifications and indeed consequences of the engines becoming as famous as they are, as per the last book. Because we've got Diesel here, who's very clearly sucking up to them as much as he does to make it all the more satisfying when he inevitably finds a way to sort of tear them down. Which, by this point, he thought he would have just done by, like, showing how revo-thingamy he is and being better at everything than them. And, of course, he thwarts that by making an ass of himself, as is the Sodor way. There's a lot that just fascinates me about Diesel from a character standpoint here, especially in this story. And obviously, Duck's strongest soldier here. Duck's action being inaction is, like, I think one of the most interesting things Audrey's done so far as, like, one of the most interesting things Audrey's done so far to set up a conflict. Duck basically fucking doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, for that, I'll give it to Donald.
Yeah.
Love this story. Love this book. Simple as.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
simple
just a
as,
book
mate,
with a
yeah.
story.
so we got Toby, Duck, Donald, which averages out
7, 8, 9.
to Duck.
Averages out to a duck. Yeah.
This is what... our rankings today are the reason that 6 was afraid of 7.
Yeah. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Andrew,
I
Cannibalism.
I just want to tell you that I adore you.
I adore you too.
I adore Andrew as well.
And I adore you too. I adore both of you.
Yippee!
Aww.
I'm glad you're my friend.
Right.
I'm glad we're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we're doing it too. I enjoy doing this together.
Together.
Working.
We can do it
Work.
right together. All right, now pay me the $5 you owe me for
together.
that.
Yeah. Next time we're talking about dirty work.
Whoa.
Yippee!
You know, speaking of consequences of things, like Andrew was saying, yeah,
Yep.
that's
Consequences.
consequences. So we'll see y'all next time for that.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That's-